NFPA 5000, the Building Construction and Safety Code, addresses refuse and linen handling in Chapter 8.15. This section specifically states that electrical equipment shall not be installed in refuse rooms, linen rooms, or refuse disposal chutes. This prohibition aims to mitigate potential fire hazards and ensure the safety of building occupant. Chapter 8.17, which covers waste and linen handling systems, introduces an exception to the aforementioned rule. Exception number 2 allows for the installation of electrical panels in refuse rooms, linen rooms, or refuse disposal chutes, provided that the electrical panels meet 2 crucial conditions. Firstly, the electrical panels must be an integral part of the waste or linen handling system. Secondly, the electrical panels must be specifically approved for safety. This means that the panels must undergo rigorous testing and certification to ensure they can operate safely within the demanding environment of a refuse or linen room. Now, regarding the specific scenario of installing an electrical panel to feed a compactor and other trash-related equipment in a trash room, the general rule from NFPA 5000 prohibits such an installation. However, the exception offers a potential pathway for compliance. To determine whether the exception applies, 2 key questions must be addressed. Firstly, is the electrical panel considered part of the waste handling system? This determination often depends on the specific design and function of the system. If the electrical panel solely provides power to the compactor and related equipment, and these components are considered essential for the overall waste handling process, then the panel might be deemed part of the system. Secondly, is the electrical panel approved for safety? This requires verification that the panel meets relevant safety standards and has been certified by a recognized testing laboratory. Approved panels typically feature enhanced protection against environmental factors such as dust, moisture, and physical impact. To elaborate on the exception further, it is important to consider what constitutes being part of the waste or linen handling system. This is not explicitly defined in NFPA 5000 and can be subject to interpretation by local authorities. A reasonable interpretation is that the electrical equipment must be directly and functionally integrated into the system. For example, a control panel that directly manages the operation of a compactor or conveyor system would likely be considered part of the system. In contrast, a general-purpose electrical panel that simply provides power to the room would not meet this criterion. Regarding the requirement for the electrical panel to be approved for safety, this means that the panel must be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or Intertek. The listing indicates that the panel has been tested and found to comply with applicable safety standards. The label provides evidence of this listing and allows inspectors to verify compliance. Safety standards relevant to electrical panels in refuse rooms may include those addressing protection against dust, moisture, corrosion, and physical damage. Enclosures for electrical equipment are classified based on their ability to protect against these hazards, using ratings such as National Electrical Manufacturers Association Type 4 or Type 4X. These enclosures are designed to prevent the ingress of water and dust, ensuring the safe operation of the electrical components within. In addition to enclosure ratings, other safety features may be required for electrical panels in refuse rooms. These may include ground fault circuit interrupters to protect against electrical shock, overcurrent protection devices to prevent overloading, and disconnect switches to allow for safe maintenance and repairs. The specific requirements will depend on the local electrical code and the specific hazards present in the refuse room. To ensure compliance with NFPA 5000 and local electrical codes, it is crucial to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor. These professionals can assess the specific requirements of the project and recommend appropriate electrical equipment and installation methods. They can also assist in obtaining the necessary permits and inspections to ensure that the installation meets all applicable regulations. If there are further questions or a need for a copy of the code, contacting the National Fire Protection Association is recommended. They can be reached via their website at / by phone at 1-800-344-3555 or by email at They are the authoritative source for information on NFPA 5000 and can provide clarification on specific code requirements. When communicating with the NFPA, be prepared to provide detailed information about the specific project, including the type of equipment being installed, the location of the installation, and the relevant code sections. This will help the NFPA staff to provide accurate and helpful guidance. Furthermore, consider the specific environment of the trash room. Trash rooms often present harsh conditions, including the presence of dust, moisture, and potentially corrosive substances. Electrical equipment installed in these areas must be specifically designed to withstand these conditions. This may require the use of special enclosures, corrosion-resistant materials, and other protective measures. Regular maintenance and inspection of electrical equipment in trash rooms is also essential. This includes checking for signs of damage, corrosion, or overheating. Any problems should be addressed promptly to prevent potential hazards. It is important to note that NFPA 5000 is not the only code that may apply to electrical installations in trash rooms. Local electrical codes, such as the National Electrical Code, also contain requirements for electrical safety. These codes may address issues such as wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection. Therefore, it is crucial to comply with all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, while NFPA 5000 generally prohibits the installation of electrical equipment in trash rooms, an exception exists for electrical panels that are part of the waste handling system and approved for safety. To determine whether the exception applies, it is necessary to assess the specific design and function of the system, as well as the safety certification of the electrical panel. Consulting with a qualified electrical professional and contacting the NFPA are recommended to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, it is important to consider the specific environmental conditions of the trash room and to implement appropriate protective measures to ensure the safe and reliable operation of electrical equipment. To further clarify the scope of the exception, let's consider some additional examples. Imagine a scenario where a trash room contains a sophisticated waste sorting system incorporating conveyors, optical sensors, and robotic arms. This system is controlled by a dedicated electrical panel that manages the operation of all these components. In this case, the electrical panel would likely be considered an integral part of the waste handling system, and the exception might apply, provided that the panel is approved for safety. On the other hand, consider a situation where a trash room simply contains a standard trash compactor and a lighting fixture. The compactor is powered by a dedicated circuit breaker in a remote electrical panel, and the lighting fixture is connected to a separate circuit. In this scenario, the electrical panel would likely not be considered part of the waste handling system, and the exception would not apply. The electrical panel would need to be located outside of the trash room. It is also important to consider the potential for future expansion or modification of the waste handling system. If the initial installation only includes a basic compactor, but there are plans to add more sophisticated equipment in the future, it may be prudent to install an electrical panel that is capable of supporting the expanded system. This can help to avoid the need for costly and disruptive electrical upgrades later on. Furthermore, it is important to coordinate the electrical installation with other trades involved in the construction or renovation of the trash room. This includes the mechanical contractor, the plumbing contractor, and the general contractor. Proper coordination can help to avoid conflicts and ensure that the installation is completed safely and efficiently. In addition to the technical aspects of the electrical installation, it is also important to consider the administrative requirements. This includes obtaining the necessary permits, scheduling inspections, and maintaining accurate records of the installation. Compliance with these administrative requirements is essential for ensuring that the installation is legal and safe. Another important consideration is the training of personnel who will be operating and maintaining the waste handling system. These personnel should be trained on the proper operation of the electrical equipment, as well as the potential hazards associated with the system. They should also be provided with appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection. Regular safety meetings and training sessions can help to reinforce safe work practices and prevent accidents. In the context of electrical safety, it is also crucial to address the issue of arc flash. Arc flash is a dangerous phenomenon that can occur when electrical equipment is energized. It can produce intense heat, blinding light, and explosive pressure. To protect personnel from arc flash hazards, it is necessary to conduct an arc flash hazard analysis and to implement appropriate safety measures. These measures may include the use of arc-rated clothing, installation of arc flash barriers, and the development of safe work procedures. The National Fire Protection Association also publishes NFPA 70E, which provides guidance on electrical safety in the workplace, including arc flash protection. Compliance with NFPA 70E can help to minimize the risk of arc flash injuries. When selecting electrical equipment for use in trash rooms, it is important to consider the environmental conditions that the equipment will be exposed to. Trash rooms can be damp, dusty, and corrosive environments. Therefore, it is essential to select equipment that is specifically designed to withstand these conditions. This may require the use of special enclosures, corrosion-resistant materials, and sealed components. It is also important to ensure that the equipment is properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. Proper grounding helps to ensure that fault currents are safely diverted to ground, minimizing the risk of electrical shock. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems. To further enhance electrical safety in trash rooms, it is recommended to install ground fault circuit interrupters. Ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to detect small amounts of current leakage to ground. When a ground fault is detected, the ground fault circuit interrupter quickly shuts off the power to the circuit, preventing electrical shock. Ground fault circuit interrupters are particularly effective in wet or damp locations where the risk of electrical shock is higher. In addition to ground fault circuit interrupters, it is also recommended to install surge protective devices to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges. Voltage surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other electrical disturbances. Surge protective devices help to divert excess voltage away from sensitive electronic equipment, preventing damage. Surge protective devices are particularly important for protecting electronic equipment that is used to control the waste handling system. Another important aspect of electrical safety is the proper labeling of electrical equipment. All electrical panels, disconnect switches, and other electrical equipment should be clearly labeled to identify their purpose. This helps to prevent confusion and ensures that personnel can safely operate and maintain the equipment. Labels should be durable and weather-resistant to ensure that they remain legible over time. In addition to physical labels, it is also recommended to create electrical schematics and wiring diagrams. These diagrams provide a detailed representation of the electrical system, including the location of all components and the wiring connections. Electrical schematics and wiring diagrams are valuable tools for troubleshooting electrical problems and for making modifications to the system. They should be kept up to date and readily available for reference. Regular inspections of electrical equipment in trash rooms are also essential for maintaining electrical safety. Inspections should be conducted by qualified electrical personnel and should include a visual examination of the equipment, as well as electrical testing. Any problems identified during the inspection should be addressed promptly to prevent potential hazards. Inspections should be documented, and records should be maintained for future reference. Furthermore, consider the use of energy-efficient electrical equipment in trash rooms. Energy-efficient equipment can help to reduce energy consumption and lower operating costs. This is particularly important for equipment that is used frequently, such as lighting fixtures and motors. Energy-efficient equipment also tends to generate less heat, which can help to improve the overall safety of the trash room. When selecting lighting fixtures for use in trash rooms, it is important to consider the lighting levels required for safe operation. Adequate lighting is essential for preventing accidents and ensuring that personnel can clearly see what they are doing. The Illuminating Engineering Society provides recommended lighting levels for various tasks and environments. It is also important to consider the color rendering index of the lighting fixtures. The color rendering index measures the ability of a light source to accurately render the colors of objects. Lighting fixtures with a high color rendering index are preferred for tasks that require accurate color perception. Finally, it is important to stay informed about the latest developments in electrical safety and technology. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, and new products and techniques are being developed all the time. Staying informed can help to ensure that the electrical system in the trash room is safe, efficient, and up to date. Subscribing to industry publications, attending trade shows, and participating in continuing education courses are all good ways to stay informed. By following these guidelines, one can help to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system in the trash room.